Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for Geek Pride's Dungeons & Dragons campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. With me tonight, we have Conrad as Arno Jerkel.
Hello, everyone.
Michael as Tharful Eldon.
Evening, everyone.
Wes as Valshul Nostius.
Hey, everyone.
Mark as Lance.
Hola.
Danny as Golanza Rivenstar.
Hiya.
And our new meat, our new guy, we've got Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Hi.
Right. So Bart will be introduced slightly later. But what we're going to do is we're going to give you a quick recap of what happened in the last session. I'll stick on my tavern music, so we've got something going on in the background. Okay, so this is a bit of downtime for the party. They are currently in Suburn. For those of you who will remember from a couple of sessions ago, they have basically framed one of the Triarchs for cultist activity. He has been arrested and is currently awaiting trial. They've basically managed to persuade the public defender effectively that this guy isn't worth saving, so he hasn't really done a lot of he'll defend them, but he hasn't done a lot of background searching to see if there was anything untoward happening. So that was courtesy of Arno following him around and going, this guy's a fucking dickhead, you don't want to deal with that. So so he sort of kind of went, he's a traitor, and but he's doing his job. On top of that, they've done a little bit of shopping. I think, Lance, you got yourself something, did you? Did you buy yourself something?
I bought a book.
You bought a book. Yes, you got the book. You got a book. Yes. Arno,
And I got a spell.
You got a spell. As that's happening, so basically, the trial's going to be in 7 days. The idea, Lady Taunt has basically been ascended to a Triarch, so basically taking the place of her dead father. And she is now one of the 3 Triarchs, obviously Agover, now Lady Taunt, and the third, the shamed Triarch Suburn. So let me see what else we had. Oh, yes. So, trial. Valshul has decided that he wanted to take himself off on a little bit of a recce to try and find a dragon slayer, because he needs some dragon's blood to do some things with, something he hasn't fully told the party about, I don't think. Tharaval, seeing this, seeing Valshul sort of slipping out into the city, decided to follow him, and what can only be described as a comedy of errors ensued. Tharaval followed Valshul, a Valshul who generally isn't the most perceptive, saw him, then decided, I'm going to go down a side alley. Goes down a side alley. Tharaval and Saravel, his brother, sort of walk past all laughing, acting sort of inconspicuous. Then Valshul sort of taps him on the shoulder and says, what are you doing here? There's a lot of sort of lying to each other going on. They're going on, yeah, we're just going to go to a bar to celebrate, all how great you are, Val. Val buys it. They take themselves off to a bar, and then there's sort of basically a back and forth, trying to get a bit of information from each other, but proceeding to get extremely drunk and not getting any information. I think Valshul told you. What did he tell you? He told you about the dragon blood. Told you about the ritual. Briefly, but I don't think he gave you much else. No, am I right? Yeah.
It was just that I needed it for a ritual.
Yeah, you need it for a ritual. Then you proceeded to get.
I think I had it on in the background.
Yeah, you got extremely drunk. As I said, you basically, Valshul is unconscious. So the next, Valshul's unconscious, has drank way too much. Tharaval's got a thumping headache. Saravel basically is just about himself. He's the more sensible brother, I guess. And you are currently in the bar recovering. I think what's happened is Tharvol's come downstairs to get some breakfast, seeing Valashul sort of unconscious at the table. And that was it. Okay, so before we go to that point, Galandra, where do you want to be within this melee? So we're in Suburn. Lady Taunt is preparing for the trial against
I like how you
Suburn.
told me where she was first.
Yes, well, the trial, the others have sort of taken themselves off into the city to do some bits and pieces. In the end, this is meant to be a bit of downtime for you. You've got a week before the trial. You can do kind of what you want. It's up to yourselves. If you want to do a bit of shopping, you've got some gold from the last, you got a bit of gold from your last hoard that you got.
Is there any high quality merchants, like clothing, accessories, and stuff in the
Yes,
city?
there would be, yes.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do? You want to go clothes shopping?
Yeah. I want to go to one of those merchants.
Okay, right. So you check yourself off into the sort of kind of the streets. Obviously, there's the market street, and then you've got this sort of quite. Stop heavy breathing.
Sorry.
I know it's exciting shopping, but it's not that exciting. But you take yourself down sort of what is effectively the main sort of posh area of the of Suburn. There's some nice shops, lots of very fancy dresses, fancy sort of armor shops, weapons, a bit of everything, but it's all high level sort of things.
I'm looking for accessories and jewelry.
Accessories and jewelry. Okay, so you go into what is the sort of kind of local jewelers. There is a nice gentleman there. Hello, my name is Cuthbert Arlington III. Welcome to my establishment. What can I do you for?
Can you point me in the direction of your rings, good sir?
Oh yes, we have many rings. What are you? We've got dragon scale. We've got gold. We've got platinum. We've got oh crap, what's the other one called? What's the one with with an E? Electrum, is that one of them?
Yeah,
Electrum. Yeah, Electrum rings. We got anything you want? Gems, big gems, small gems. What exactly are you looking for?
One with a nice big stone on it.
Oh Lord. Okay, so yes. So his eyes sort of kind of glint up. Yes, right this way, my lady. He sort of kind of brings you to this sort of kind of glass case and sort of points you down. It's just like this is a very sort of beautiful ring. I'm told it used to be owned by let me think. A Zalharakian princess. Here you go, and he sort of brings it out, and it's it's got it's sort of kind of white gold with some massive sort of kind of gem shoulders, and it's got a massive diamond or some sort of red gem in the center of it.
How much for this one?
Oh right. So it is going to be.
I don't even know how much I've got. I haven't updated my whatever I've got for a long time.
So last week we decided that all of us we just got 5,000 gold each from the last quest. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely have not really updated it. I've got 300 gold and nothing else. So I've not updated that in a long time.
Just add 5,000 gold. That's what we all have, and then there's some in the group kitty as well.
Cool.
Okay, so he says, well, there is this ring does apparently have some magical qualities to it. It is of high quality. Of course, it used to be a princess's ring. This is for you. That would be 8,000 gold.
You couldn't just not be a knob.
What do you mean not be involved?
Our stuff was
I
way
was
overpriced too, Gula.
I was literally going to say, whatever money you've got, the DM's going to say it costs more.
Yeah.
It's the highest quality. It's the highest quality, and I couldn't tell you what the magical property. I'd been assured it has magical properties.
Do you take anything other than gold, good sir?
Hey-o.
I'm flexing out the Galandra bra. What do you? He sort of kind of looks at you and says, "What do you have in mind?"
Well, I'm sure I have many trinkets, and things of worth in my bag. I think I'm just looking in my bag. I'm sure I have something. I present my amulet.
What amulet
and
was
ask
that?
how much... I'm not sure. It says amulet.
Oh, that's not the amulet. Wait a minute. That's not the amulet that was given to you by Salden. His sister's amulet.
I don't remember getting any amulet off Holden's sister.
No, it's his. He had it. You took it off his dead corpse, and it's of it's his sister's. In fact, no, it's not. It's the amulet.
I have no recollection of that.
I think it wasn't at like one of our first quests. I think you found the amulet in the catacombs, and there was a picture of her in it.
No, that was I don't have that.
I'm
sure I got mine. I'm sure I got mine when we did. Was it on part of the Battle of Silkside? I think.
So, do you have have you any description other than an amulet? Because if it means that little to you, then it's not going to be worth that much, is it?
No, I think I'm sure it isn't. It like a detection one.
Is it? I don't know.
Well,
is it?
It's in your inventory.
Proof of against detection.
Oh, is it an amulet of proof? Okay, okay. So let me just give you. Let me just do
a magical properties amulet.
The one that's worth about 300 gold.
Yeah, let me see.
I mean, I could start making you really, really uncomfortable and offering you other things, but I don't think you want to roleplay that, Matt.
Well, you don't know. You have no idea what way he swings, so you could try. Okay, so
and plus you're challenging Matt, which he will automatically accept. That's how he
I
works.
don't know. Every time I've tried to flirt with Lady Taunt, he's like, he can't give me any sort of back and forth with her that
but
way.
you're challenging him to do it.
That's because your husband lives down the road, and I don't really fancy him coming on the door and sort of, I know we're friends and all, but stop flirting with me.
You're in character.
Flirt with my missus.
Not real life.
Matthew, you're literally the godfather to one of my kids. Like, it's fine to role play someone flirting with me. It's okay.
No.
It's you heard that? Exactly. Okay, so let me see. It is going to cost you. It's going to give. It's not giving me
Can I try and persuade him that it costs more than it actually does?
So you're going to deceive him?
As long as if it's going to.
So what are you trying to? So let me just try and find a sort of basic cost for it. Let me try and detection cost. Okay. All right. So he looks at the amulet and he's like, He's like, I could give you 500 gold for this.
How about we add an extra 0 onto that?
He looks at Madame. I feel you. Yeah, he looks at you and says, no. And he sort of kind of laughs and he says, I would have thought somebody of your stature and of renown would have had plenty of gold to spend in my establishment.
Well, perhaps, my good sir, and do not take this the wrong way, but perhaps I could offer my services instead of my gold. And by that I mean my sword. No, not goodies.
You just don't know what he might be into, though.
Is there
Show him your feet.
surely someone in a city as vast as this will have some endeavors or problems that he requires somebody with both healing magic
Fancy Galandra Pro Edition.
or a sword for. Have you any problems that I could help with that may reduce the price of this ring?
He
More side quests.
Okay. Roll me another persuasion.
You could just ask if he's got any more rings.
I mean, no.
Do
Okay.
you have any cheaper options?
That one.
He sort of kind of looks at you and he's just like, this is highly irregular. Most of my patrons just pay money. I don't think I've ever been bartered with. It's very plebeian.
I am not your average cleric.
He's just like, okay, he says, I could potentially give you this ring, at a discount, if you could help out. Let me see what I'm going to do quest-wise.
Side quest, yeah.
Side quest. Okay. Giant rats in a cellar. Let's go old school. Giant rats in a cellar. Okay. Giant rats in
a cellar. Side quest.
Welcome back to level 1.
or your sheep. My sheep have run amok. He says, let's see. I'm just going to generate one.
Oh God, I've set him off now.
Your fault.
Okay. This is the one that just came up straight away. Justice demands retribution. In this case, it requires death. Here, a group of filthy miscreants killed some of our farmers without mercy. We will not let them go unpunished. Oh, that's great. Okay, so okay.
Want me to kill people?
He mentions that there have been raids on his supplies. Somebody within the city is skimming off the top, and so he's not getting a full amount of the profit and goods that he should be getting. If you can bring this miscreant to justice, you can find them and get this miscreant to justice, he will give you a heavy discount.
Challenge accepted.
Heavy discount.
Yes, I shall do this for you, and I will be back to collect my purchase.
Excellent. Okay, so carry on then. By all means, you know where I am. If you need anything else, do let me know. But good luck, and I hopefully will see you soon with the he's sort of the head of my enemy. But yes, please don't bring any severed heads into my shop. It will put off the.
You said it now.
It will put off my customers, but just proof of his demise or would be useful. Thank you very much. Okay, so you're.
Galandra nods, walks out of the shop. Activates side quest in my journal.
Okay. a little yellow line appears in Suburn as you sort of kind of follow it around. Okay. Right. before we go back to when we go off to the tavern, I'll get the other two out of the way first. So, Arno, you had got your spell. You'd said you were taking yourself off to read it, I think.
Yeah, I retreated to my quarters to study and copy it into my book and make sure I knew it.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. Lance, what about you? You sort of got your book. What were you up to?
Trying to recall. I was heading back, and I'm trying to remember what happened now. Gee, take a week off. It all goes to hell. I think I just headed back to the palace or the castle or whatever.
Okay.
After I'd made my my purchase.
Is there within that? So because you've done that in the first day. This is the next morning for all intents and purposes.
So I mean, for the second day, I mean, I'm trying to think. Obviously, my main focus has been, well, aside from not strangling the paladin.
Wow.
It continues to be to learn more about my origins, and obviously I've been to see the artisan side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So what I might do is visit the Mage's Quarter to see if anyone has any information or can point me towards a place or where I can gain more knowledge about my creation and myself.
Because let me just get world envelope here. Because I think it's Torstal Battleshaper. That's the name of your creator.
So I bought a book about him, but I'm also looking for inspiration and information about how I work. If that makes sense. Because obviously,
in what way? Because we know that you have one of those sort of crystal vessels within you. That the same sort of thing that was in Thomas's staff.
So I know that an outcome of the incident that cracked that vessel has led to me having different abilities. So I want to understand some more about that.
Okay.
So maybe looking for people that know some more about those crystals and how they work.
All right. Okay. Something I need to think about. Think about what specifically you want to find. You're gonna have to give me a bit more specifics on what you're looking at and looking for and stuff.
So I obviously have new abilities.
Yes.
And I want to look at ways that I can improve myself without inadvertently losing those new abilities.
Okay, so all right, okay. All right, okay. I'm
trying to become a self-made man, okay?
I think I know what I can do with that. Okay. Right. Okay, so you take yourself off to the you're taking yourself off to the Mage's Quarter to find out some bits and pieces about that. Right, okay, we'll move on to that after this then. So, alright, where are we? Bish. Okay. So, as we said last week, Valshul, you're currently unconscious at the table after some heavy drinking the night before. Tharaval has come downstairs and is feeling slightly rough. Saravel sort of kind of sitting at the bar with a bit of food, having, just smirking as Tharaval sort of kind of comes downstairs to get his breakfast.
I want to see who the guy in the corner is.
Okay, so you give me a perception check, but disadvantage because you're hanging.
What about Serval?
Is he helping or is he laughing at you?
Well, yeah, it's sort of. He's just sort of kind of sat there. He's like aware of people are there and stuff, but he has no sort of. Yeah.
Am I still unconscious?
You are going to have to give me a Constitution. Okay, there's people in in the bar. There's like some waitresses sort of serving wenches. There's the bar. It's not super busy. There's a couple. Actually, I'll put a few other drunkards sort of flying around here. There's a few other sort of kind of drunkards sort of kind of at the table doing having the breakfast, having another drink, hair of the dog. There's nothing untoward. It's just an inn.
Really feel like going robbing some jewelry caravans.
I don't think Danny's picked up on that. Oh, how that would be. You shouldn't say anything because that was kind of the angle I was going for.
I really don't think that would end very well.
You could end up with a ring, though.
Well, okay, right. Well, yeah. So if I'm not really sort of picking up, there's obviously a guy in the corner, but I'm not really picking anything up. Tharaval sort of he sort of calls over to Ceravel to sort of sit down and to sort of have a chat with. And sort of discuss what was sort of mentioned by Val the night before about the ritual. And as he's sort of like tucking into his food, he sort of says to Ceravel's like just check his pockets to see if there's anything that will give us a bit more
Are you
info.
leaving me?
Okay, so so give me a sleight of hand then from
Ceravel.
Yeah. And you can give me a
And if it's a 20, you find a note that says step 1.
Do you get advantage because he's asleep?
Yes, you
unconscious
can have advantage as well. Yeah, he's.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
24.
You lucky son of a bitch.
Okay, so
You steal
kind
my
of-
magic snow globe, you son of a bitch.
you go through his sort of like his belongings. He is fast asleep on the table with a constitution of 11. He's not waking up. You sort of, what are you gonna find? Is Valashil the sort of person who would write down notes and things? Valashil, you wouldn't be the sort of person to keep anything like that.
I don't think it's that organised.
Yeah, I
Worst
don't.
comes to worst, I'll take his money.
I ain't got any. I don't carry
You've
any
got
money on
5,000
me.
gold.
No,
Where is it?
check my sheet. I don't have anything.
I'll take something.
I give all my stuff to charity.
What have you got on your person then, Val?
I have a holy symbol.
Yep.
An insignia of the Legion.
Mm-hmm.
A set of common clothes. A pack with all my priestly belongings.
We
An
take his
alms
lance.
box. Wow.
Why would you take his
Steal
lance? That's
My
not.
dad's
Gonna,
spear.
yeah, your dad. It's that.
To keep him out of trouble.
Yeah, but then I've got Holy Avenger.
Yeah, you don't want to steal his lance, do you?
I've got 10 candles.
Take
3
all,
candles.
Yeah,
All the candles.
take 2.5 candles.
I need them for my ritual. No.
Can we take his underwear off him?
Yeah. Okay. Are you taking his underwear?
Yes, I want to take his underwear.
so Ceravel says, my
There are
brother.
easier ways. to do
Ceravel's
that.
like, brother, he's got nothing. There's not this paladin does not keep notes. He does keep his underwear though, and he sort of like picks up this sort of his underwear and sort of chuckles and says, yeah, here we go, and he sort of kind of places it on his head.
Massive skiddy on it.
Yeah, on his head.
There is dirty pants.
Yep. Okay, so Lecky, your character's sort of sitting in the corner. You have been party to most of the shenanigans throughout the night. You've watched these three get very drunk. You've watched, obviously, one of them sort of take himself off, and not in disgust, but just like, I'm not dealing with this. But you've seen the paladin basically unconscious for most of the night. You've seen the ranger sort of stumble off in the evening to take himself, and you've sort of had a nice meal, had a drink, been sensible, taking yourself upstairs, come back down, and are sitting in the corner watching the aftermath of the night before. What are you doing?
I'm going to be casually smoking a pipe. Just watching the proceedings, watch the underpants getting flicked around. That sort of like piques my interest a little bit. It's like, it's interesting.
Are you a human?
I am, yeah. I'm sat there, sort of. I've got a cloak on the chair next to me, just like sort of like laid over it. I'm wearing like a waistcoat, like little shirt, and like some trousers. And I've got like a little wand, just like stuck in like the watch pocket. And I'll probably like grab my empty tankard and take it over to the bar and get it refreshed.
Okay, so you sort of walk your way over to past these guys. You hear the snoring of the paladin and the other two laughing as the pants sort of kind of lie on it, go on his head. Is there anything you just want to get a drink? You want to keep on listening to what they're saying?
Yeah. I'll get a fresh drink and just see what transpires.
Okay. So give us a Constitution, please.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Okay. So you as the underwear sort of kind of hits in your head, the pungent smell stings the nostrils somewhat, and smells like Bigfoot's dick. It sort of stings your nostrils, and you sort of kind of you sort of kind of raise your head and sort of kind of look around you with this thumping headache.
Valashur like jerks upright and puts his hand down on his sword hilt, and he's like, "I can sense evil." And then he like rubs his eyes for a second and notices that Serval's got his underwear on his head, and he's like, I honestly can't think of words to describe how great you look with those on your head. Do you think a healing potion will cure this headache?
He's like, "Welcome back, Valashur. We weren't sure if you were going to survive the night."
I wasn't too sure either. What did you put in those drinks?
I didn't put. He says, "Don't look at me, my friend. You just, too many drinks. I think you need to know your limits."
I'm a paladin of Bahamut. I don't have any limits.
It would seem so, my friend. It would seem so. He says,
"Would you like another drink?"
He says, "Hair of the dog." He says, "I am not going to encourage you to have any more, my friend. Maybe you should have, should have some milk.
Milk will be just fine."
Yeah, he says, like, and he sort of kind of nods over to the serving wench, and he says, like, "Young lady, could we have some milk for my brother and his comrade, please?" Okay, what are you both sort of doing then? What you're feeling very hungover. You're both sat there. What's going on?
Val stands up and snatches his dirty underwear off of Serval's head to start. And he says, "I'll be taking those back. They were due a wash, so you might as well go and wash your face at the same time."
Tharaval says, "Well, it was the guy at the bar who gave them back to us."
Roll deception. Roll deception.
Please let this work. Please let this work.
Oh no!
No, he's sort of getting look. You know, he's You don't believe him. Though you are confused. You are confused how his underwear on your head and not on your person.
Cerebel and Tharavel sort of sit giggling to themselves.
Val shakes his head in confusion and just like stuffs his pants away in his bag, and he says, "Even though I'm still groggy from last night's drink, you will not sow any more chaos."
Cerebel says, "You may need to do some sewing of your underwear, though."
Well, this is what happens when you're on the front line, not skulking on the back line like you two.
Oh, he laughs. He laughs quite heavily and says, "Oh, that's what they call a burn."
Better than my smite.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Tharavel sort of like, you know, he's hungover and he's having a laugh, but he's like, right, we need to get down to brass tacks here and get on with stuff. So he wants to be productive. He says to Cerebel, I think we need to go and have some words with somebody with a bit more knowledge than the people in this tavern. So they get up to leave.
Okay. Do you want to roll me a perception?
Yep.
I will also roll perception. One last sweep of the bar. Or I can just give him advantage if we're both looking for the same thing.
We're both really hungover, so
Yeah.
that's right.
Okay. So you do notice out of you know all of the dregs of society here in this sort of this establishment, there's a quite well dressed looking gentleman at the bar who can't help but seem to be listening to your conversation.
So Tharavel sort of noticing this, he picks up his empty plate and his glass, sort of being quite sort of polite, so that the bar wench doesn't have to clear the table, and he brings it over to the bar and places it down, and nods to the barman and says that was. I think you may have saved my life today. And he sort of turns and sort of eyes up and down the well-dressed fellow. And he says, I may have a thumping headache, but you a character of your sort of standard doesn't seem to fit in a place like this. What is your business, stranger?
Ah, how kind of you to notice. No, I've been travelling. I'm quite weary. I'm afraid I just stumbled into the first place I found, and what do I find here but just some likely lads enjoying themselves, carousing all night long, and into the morning as well. Well, this is you don't often find this in the some of the sleepier villages I've been through, so I just thought I'd enjoy the show. Did I hear correctly in hearing that you may be seeking knowledge? What is it that you're trying to discover?
I do seek knowledge, but it's not a question I would like to ask of somebody that I know nothing about, stranger.
Oh, of course. How rude of me. Oh.
Val overhears and just butts in. He's like, "I'm looking for a dragon slayer."
And then he's sick. He's like, "I'm looking for a dragon slayer."
Hold on.
Or he's sort of kind of drool. "I'm looking for dragon slayer." He sort of wipes the.
How rude of me. I'm afraid I've not seen any dragon's layers on my way over here, but maybe you could find a map. Point one out to you. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so impolite. My name is Bartholomew Pringle, but my friends call me Barty. I'm a researcher by trade, an academic, and you could call me a spell sommelier. But
what?
really, yes, I'm just trying to pursue knowledge. Who may I be addressing?
Shit.
Val points at Ceravel and says, "That one's Faravel," and then points at Faravel and said, "That one's Ceravel."
They're twins,
And I
by
am
the way.
Valashul Nostius,
Yeah.
Paladin of Bahamut.
Oh well. Hang on, these names are familiar. I've heard some whispers, rumors, and stories along the way. Am I?
Yes, well, my reputation does precede me. I will say.
Am I addressing the heroes of Silkside and Falder Bridge? Well, apparently not.
No, I think
Excuse me.
I think Valashul would be very sort of like, yes, whereas Tharavel may be a bit more sort of like cagey about it.
We are not heroes. We fought alongside many men and women. We are but equals. Although my paladin friend may feel different.
Oh no, I completely agree with you. Those who gave their lives are the heroes.
But
But
kind of a big deal.
I'm kind of a big deal. So
I do
yes,
apologise. Sometimes my nerves let my tongue run away with me if I encounter celebrities. Of course, I should keep it quiet. We don't want the rabble all getting excited, do we?
there'll be plenty of excitement to come. Rest assured.
That sounds like an invitation.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a show in the central square in the coming days. Be sure to find yourself there.
Interesting.
He says it quite ominously, like he's got a plan up his sleeve. But
I would say, Barty, are you? Would you have done your research on these chaps, or would you have done any sort of? You would have heard stuff about them. Would you have read up on them or anything, or are you just sort of you've picked up on these stories and you've seen these guys and it sort of rang a bell, or how are you sort of playing it?
Yeah, it's rung a bell. I've been paying attention to stories and rumors that I've been encountering on the road, coming from Corilla, and what I'm seeking is knowledge of magic. So, sort of I'm attracted to it. Maybe that's why it's brought me through to Silver. And what I'm just trying to find out where I might be able to try and find some new interesting spells. So, I was just address and say, am I right in believing that there's a spellcaster amongst you, a wizard?
Val nods his head. Thomas, yes, actually, we've not heard from him since I sent him to gather ships in Taunt. Val then looks to Faravel and he's like, have you received any word of Thomas?
I've heard nothing.
You got that letter, bar the letter. You got the
but
letter.
But Lance didn't share it with anyone.
Oh, did you not share it with anyone?
No.
Ah, right.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Yep.
Either way, I'm sure he'll return eventually. You could learn many a thing from him.
Oh, well, that is exactly what I was hoping. Perhaps you would allow me to shadow your group for a little while until he returns and I can have an audience?
I suppose I could do with someone to carry my spear.
Oh,
God.
Oh, God.
perhaps not. No, perhaps not. But maybe I can make myself useful in other ways.
Elaborate.
Well, I've picked up one or two tricks along the way. I'm sure when the time is right, there might be an opportunity for me to help somehow.
I have no need for a juggler. What sort of tricks do you have?
Well,
Jesus
since you
Christ,
ask,
Marshall.
you do have something behind your ear, and he just scratches behind, and then pulls out another pair of underpants, hands them back to you, and goes, "Now you really must take better care of these. I assume you only have a limited supply."
I wish
Tharball and
people would stop rifling through my belongings.
Tharball and Ceravel sort of like pause in just sort of disbelief at what's seen, and then just burst out laughing, and tap Barty on the shoulder. You can come with us. You can come with us.
Do you want to give me an insight so you can see if he's if you know what about his intentions, how you feel about his intentions?
I'll smell him.
I swear to God, in 5 minutes we know more about this new character than we do about Arno.
I don't smell anything.
Yeah, Val's like,
You smell your pants.
yeah, he smells.
I never got this opportunity.
Smells. Well, yeah, it smells like I have been trying to drop as many hints, but you're quite cloak and dagger about your sort of background and stuff, so it's not as easy as like being as open as Barty's just kind of going, this is what I'm looking at, and this is what I'm doing.
It's not a problem at all. So.
So that insight, Tharaval, yeah, you're you know, he seems genuine enough. He sort of reminds you of Thomas when you met him. He's very he's curious. It seems like a lot of the mages and wizards you've bumped into, especially in Falcross, they all seem very kind of interested in learning and new spells and things like that. So he's no different than any of those.
Yeah, so sort of picking this up, and sort of with the sort of joke he just sort of played on Valashul and appreciating his sort of comedic gesture, Tharavar sort of like taps him on the shoulder and is laughing as he says, Thomas may not be here at the minute, but there is a recent well, not addition to your group, but there is a dwarf bard. Who is
A dwarf.
no, I'm sorry, a halfling bard who's recently stumbled upon our group. He may not say it, but I've seen some magic doings from him, so he might be a second best in the place of Thomas for the time being.
Yeah, Saravel says you may be able to crack the surface of his bardic's facade, because there's definitely more to that halfling than he says.
He's not as forthcoming as yourself.
Interesting, a closed bard. Can't say I've encountered many of those.
Yes. He's an interesting character.
Well, interesting is delightful, although I suppose yes, interesting will do.
Okay. Anything else so you're happy for him to basically tag along with you as sort of like for the time being? Is there anything else you kind of want to do within the tavern? I'm not going to jump you by thugs and stuff. Like I was going to do.
Down to his pint of milk and looks a little bit jaded, but it might be because he's still hungover, or it might be because they've got a tag along. But he turns to the three of them and he's like, "Will you help me find a dragon slayer? I've already lost a day."
Oh, did you say that to me? Sorry.
Yes.
To all three of you, yeah.
Oh.
Sounds like fun.
Are you going to? So you kind of know he's doing. He needs a dragon slayer, and that he's doing he's doing a ritual, and that's.
Yeah, but I don't really want him to know that we know he's doing a ritual.
But he told you.
He don't remember everything he said, so okay. Well, tell you what, can I roll to see if he remembers all of what happened, or?
Well, okay. So you can roll me a history. You can both roll me a history at disadvantage to see if you remember.
Well, it was crit or crit fail. So.
Okay.
Do I have to roll a history as well?
Yeah, you need to roll a history.
God, I've got a -1.
Can't be any worse than mine.
Okay, you right. So this is how this is going to play out. Okay, so Tharvel doesn't remember anything that you told him from the night before. He sort of has a vague idea that you told him something, but because he's sort of at this moment in time, because of the booze, he's just not sort of getting it. You, on the other hand, with your crit fail, think you've told him everything.
Oh,
So you remember mentioning the Dragon Slayer. You remember mentioning the ritual. You're pretty sure because of all this, you've knowing what you're like when you've had a few drinks. You've told him everything. So as in his
cat's out the bag. I'm just going to be open and honest.
yeah. So pretty much in your mind,
okay.
you've told him everything. So you might well he knows now, and he doesn't know anything. Well, he doesn't. So, but as far as you're concerned, in your brain, he knows everything.
Well, let's hear it, Val. Let's hear it.
No one's asked me any questions. Not yet, anyway.
You just asked them to find the Dragon
Accompany
Slayer.
me to the Dragon Slayer, yeah.
Yeah, so
They didn't ask why.
Yeah, so he's just sort of, let's find it. And in his mind, he's just like, they know what's going on, right? You might as well help me find the Dragon Slayer. So you're not really sort of thinking other than, yeah, okay, let's go.
So Tharvel sort of being, he sort of does Tharvel sort of have a vague memory of something being said, but he can't remember.
Yeah,
what.
you don't know. I would say when he mentions the Dragon Slayer, it sort of rings a bell, but you're not sort of. You remember talking to him about it, but that's about it.
Tharvel sort of he kind of looks to Ceravel, and he sort of gives him the eyes like I can't really remember what's said, but he sort of says, I'm not too sure about this plan of yours, Val. Can you run through it again?
Okay, roll me a persuasion with advantage. Yeah, okay. Roll me Val, you actually, I'm not going to let you counter it because, as far as you're aware, as far as you think, it's he knows, and so it's not it's not an unreasonable request and stuff. Yeah.
Val pinches his brow and looks around, suspicious that someone might be listening in, and then steps in closer, and he says, "The Dragon Knights will be more than just knights in steel. They will be of Bahamut. The right of rebirth, for any volunteers, will see them reborn as platinum dragons. Born."
Well, where I think the idea is we're not. Well, yeah. There's a little bit more to it, but yeah, that's sort of kind of yeah.
In order to do this, I need a Dragon Slayer to teach us the vulnerabilities of our enemy, Tiamat, and her own creations. I also need the blood of a dragon.
Okay.
So basically, you don't. He hasn't elaborated. He's told you what has happened. He's told you about what's it called, the rite of
Rebirth.
The rite of rebirth. That's something you can obviously, you can find out about. Barty, is that something you may know about? Do you want to roll me a history check to see if it's something you've read?
Love to.
Yeah. Okay. So. You know exactly what he's talking about. It's basically it's an ancient ritual that is it's basically paladins would their patron gods choose a. Is it specific to Bahamut or is
It's
it
specific to Bahamut.
Yeah.
Everyone who partakes in it becomes a Platinum Dragonborn.
Yeah, so basically, the long and the short of it is, Bahamut basically chooses specific sort of volunteers, or sort of kind of it persuades them to sort of kind of go into this initiation. After the initiation, they then partake of this sort of dragon blood. This then transforms them into Platinum Dragonborn. The Platinum Dragonborn then are used as Dragon Knights to fight on behalf of Bahamut against the corruption.
Well done on your first roll being a nat 20, by the way.
I know, it's sick, isn't it? It's like really like laying out. I was just going to ask, are all the rolls just set up to be like double, like advantage, disadvantage, or?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can
cool.
change it, but we just run it like that.
Yeah.
Fair play. Yeah, sick. Can't get my hopes up for more of the same.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. But Barty will just be like, well, this is very interesting. I've never actually observed a ritual such as this. I've read about them. In text.
I would also say that you've read texts on the rituals before, where there is precedent where the people who have been transformed have actually kept their original forms. They've just taken on the attributes of Platinum Dragons. So they've kept human or dwarven or halfling, but they've gained a specific, certain strengths and breath attacks and things like that, but haven't actually transformed fully into Dragonborn.
Well, sounds very exciting.
Yep.
Do I know of any potential cons to the ritual? Like,
you do know that the ritual itself, the neophytes, I guess, or the people who sort of enter into this ritual, they have to go through some trials. The trials can be deadly, and it's basically the survivors are the ones who take on the dragon. That's what I'm right, aren't they, Val?
It's kind of like you get put in like a gestation pod and you go through the transformation in there, but it can be fatal during that transformation. Like you can come out of it just dead. That's what I read anyway.
Yeah. I think the way I was sort of kind of envisaging it myself is that you're gonna have this, you're gonna have basically trials, and then of those trials you have a group who are worthy. The worthy. Obviously, there's the ones who are chosen by Bahamut. All of those ones, there's trials. The trials are the ones who take the blood, and then obviously there is a chance of the ones who partake of this ritual who can die in the process of doing it. The ones who are weak of mind and soul.
Yeah, Barty feels like he's just rocked up to a house party and the first person he's met has gone, let's go do some smack. Okay.
But yeah, I would assume this is quite interesting for you. It's
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely something I'd want to learn more about. For sure.
For shizzles. Okay, so are you going to go with Val to find this dragon slayer? What are you doing?
1 second. What is the it's the celestial realm, right? That Valishul's from.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Val looks to Bertie. I've forgotten already.
Party.
Oh, sorry. And he says, if you know so much about the rite, perhaps you could know more about opening a portal back to the celestial realm.
Interesting. I could know some things about opening a portal.
Roll me another history check.
There we go. Is that 15?
Yeah, 15. You're sure you've read something at some point in time relating to portals, but you're not 100% sure on. It's not something you know how to do. You know it's possible. You just don't know how. And you have heard about the rogue mage that has been portaling around, causing chaos in Balon anyway.
Oh, clever. I see. No. I don't know too much about the actual process of opening the portals, but I do know it is theoretically possible. Interesting. I am a researcher, though, and I probably do know where I can find the information, given time, given resources. But like I said, yeah, at some point you may find me useful. This could probably be it.
If only I could conscript with the authority of the gods.
Who are you trying to
Tell me.
Him into my service.
He's looking at me.
He's willingly going to join you. What? You don't need to conscript.
He's like
Yeah,
looking
but,
at me like I'm a
he
cartoon
can leave
hamburger.
If he's not conscripted, so if he's conscripted, he can't leave.
Okay. Don't leave me.
Either way, if you can find a way to open a portal to the celestial realm, the acquisition of a dragon's blood might be easier than I first thought.
Interesting. I can start looking around. Tell me, if you're not from this plane, are you? Why would you want to be a mere dragonborn if you're basically like an angel?
Who said that I was going to be the one going through the transformation process?
What? Well, I did
Do
assume.
you know what a patsy is?
Bahamut needs an army, and I will make him one.
What's your view? What's your religious views, by the way, Barney? What's your sort of kind of?
Bart is aware of the gods. It's not like massively religious. If any is going to have any sort of truck in it, it'll probably be Mithra.
Okay.
Just sort of like having more of like just more sense of faith in the fundamental magical energy of the universe, as opposed to like the deities that might be controlling or
you'll be
it.
aware of the. Okay, so I'll need to talk to you about life trees and stuff like that, because they're basically these big trees that sort of their energy very sort of what's it called? Oh, what's that fucking it's kind of very Avatar, but it's also, what was the one before the cartoon thing where they had all the trees? I'm thinking
of like Mako energy from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, there's like this sort of veins of energy that go through the land, and with the corruption sort of having it is affecting it and stuff. So,
is it Jason the Wild Warriors?
No, what's that? It's basically the cartoon. It's like Avatar, but it's not. It's like it had Batty, it had Robin Williams. Ferngully, basically Ferngully, which is Avatar for all intents and purposes. And Danny won't have seen it because Danny's not seen anything.
I'm looking at you.
Ferngully, basically watch Ferngully and you'll go, that's Avatar. That's basically Avatar. Yeah, so it's that sort of thing where, like, the trees sort of are a part of the magic within.
Is that the same tree that me and Val crossed swords in?
Oh yeah, well that is sort of one of your visions. Yeah, that's sort of one of the life trees. And you have like life trees within, like Galandra obviously was her initiation into her. I can't remember what I called it, but she was with it.
It's like the rite of passage.
Yeah, so it was within a life tree. So it's sort of they're very integral to the elven race, especially, and obviously there's one within the center of Freya, which is obviously guarded, and that's obviously the portal war that was all about, because obviously one of the major life trees is there. Okay, so he's happy enough to go with you. He seems like he could be useful. Are you guys going to go off and find a dragon slayer, or are you going to go off and do other things? What's everybody doing?
Well,
Are we
Val's
skipping?
still on mission, so he's gonna go and try and find a dragon slayer.
Okay,
I'm finding miscreants.
you're fine, miscreants. Oh yes, right. Yes, we forgot about your side quest. Okay, Tharavel, what are you up to?
Yeah, I think they'll stay with Val and go along with this.
Barty, I'm assuming you're staying with them then.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with them. It all sounds too loopy for words, and he wants to know more.
Okay, right. So you take yourselves off to try and find the local dragon slayer within Suburn, if there is one. Okay, so I don't want to do this day by day. I don't want to have it just like, I kind of want to speed things up slightly. So, roll me.
I'm on my way to looking for miscreants. What on earth would be the form of a post office in that day and age kind of scenario? Like, what forms of communication? Like, what is there?
Yeah, you'd have like I guess couriers, and you'd have sort of
For like traveling long distances.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. So you let's see. Arno, you've read your book. You've read your book.
It's the next day now, right?
It's the next day. What are you sort of?
So Arno would be falling to his curiosity of the spell now that he knows it. He wants to cast it and see if he can indeed summon a phantom steed to ride around on. So he would notify the people in Subin's court who know he's with them and saying that he has an errand to run, and he'd go down and out into outside the city gates. Yeah, outside the walls.
Okay, so you take yourself out to sort of like some pasture area. It's sort of slightly more secluded. There's some trees and stuff surrounding, so you can you're looking around to see if anybody's sort of kind of seeing what you're doing. Roll me a perception check.
Yes.
The first one of us to actually have a mount.
Yeah, you're as far as you're aware, you're alone. There's nobody sort of watching you. You can fire away.
All right. So he'll spend he has to spend 10 minutes sort of incanting the spell, and then quite a larger than he expected, horse-like creature. It doesn't look exactly like a horse, but more or less appears in front of me. It kind of looks like it doesn't have any eyes. It just has like concave, areas of eye sockets.
Okay.
And it doesn't have any nostrils. Well, kind of like a wooden horse, but it's kind of ethereal as well. So Arno cautiously mounts it and sets off.
Do you know how to ride a horse, by the way?
I think with it being a spell, I think it would be different rules, wouldn't it?
Sorry, that's okay. It's all right.
It's equipped with a saddle bit and bridle.
I've got the spell, but I can't ride the horse.
Yeah,
I think we had this thing before though, because there's times when we're like, okay, we're traveling from one place to another.
We'll just accept you all know
then
basic horse riding, so we're not sort
of.
Yeah.
I think so. It's not proficiency you take.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it works.
Okay.
And I'll sort of ride probably. I'd go a good few miles.
Yep.
Along to the, I guess, where did we come from? Northwest.
Okay.
Keeping my eye out for anything, and then turning back as well.
Okay. Do you want to roll me a couple of perception checks then, just as you're going along to check if there's anything? Okay. Yeah, you're not really paying. You're not really seeing anything of any note when you're going along. You're enjoying your ride. It's a nice day. You've got a new Phantom Steed. It's it's going well.
I'd also test out like getting off it and walking sort of away from it, and seeing if it still exists. And
how long does it
I'll
last? How long does it last for?
1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
So I can travel 10 miles an hour. So yeah, within an hour, I think I'd be back.
Okay. Lance, you sort of next day, you're sort of kind of up and about. What are you doing with yourself?
I think that I'm going to continue my search for information.
Okay, so you take yourself off to the mage's quarter to sort of see if you can find anything in relation. You've got the sort of kind of obligatory mage tower that's within. There seems to be one in each one. You had one in Taunt. There's no doubt one in Agover, and there's one in Suburn.
Yeah.
So you take yourself off. You find the mage tower. You sort of see a thing on the door, Donald Hauser, Esquire, and you go upstairs. Obviously, you remember that you've met a mage called Doogie Hauser in Taunt, so you're not sure if they're related or not. Are you just going in? Do you want to go in, or are you sort of... Hello, Mark?
Sorry. Yeah. Apologies, my sleep pattern's been a bit broken recently.
Oh, okay.
So I think I zonked for a moment. Okay, so as I enter the tower, I scope out my surroundings. Sort of standard stuff. Additional exits. If there's anybody else present at the time.
No, so you just, it's, there's one sort of kind of main doorway, sort of kind of spiral staircase. It's like the one you've been in before. You go up, there's another receptionist. She's sat there and she asks if you have an appointment to see Dr. Hauser.
I smile and say, unfortunately, I've only recently arrived in the city, so I haven't had a chance to make an appointment. I have made the acquaintance of and dealt with a Dr. Doogie Hauser previously, and was wondering if he was as knowledgeable as his brother.
It's like, oh, I didn't know the doctor had a brother. Let me check his diary. And she sort of kind of flicks through, and she's like, well, I could fit you in this afternoon if you don't mind waiting.
I have plenty of patience to go around. Am I okay to wait here, or would you rather I go away and come back?
No, by all means. I can. She said, can I get you a drink? And then she kind of stops. You don't drink, do you?
I'm fine. I'll just take a seat in the corner and have a short rest.
Okay, so you sort of kind of sit down, and the Dr. Hauser comes out after a few hours and says, Lance, and he sort of kind of looks up at you and says, Lance?
I stand up, so I'm looming over him and said, you called?
He's like, yes. Please enter my quarters. What can I do for you?
I am by way of a traveller that's looking for knowledge about myself. As you may have noticed, I am old. And unfortunately, I spent an awful lot of the period since my creation unconscious, out of service, indisposed, however you would like to put it, and have recently been awakened and I have been engaged in a quest, which is after making acquaintances. But I also am finding that I need to learn more about myself. There is a lot of knowledge that has been lost about me, and things that I'm encountering and doing have led to some unusual circumstances, and I would like to understand more about myself and about the artifacts that make it possible for me to be what I am.
He sort of looks at you and says, I don't know if you've got the right person, to be fair. Don't you need an artificer? I don't know how a mage could help you.
So I have made the acquaintance of several very talented artificers, and if it weren't for them, I would not be here before you as it is. But it is apparent that that which forms the core of me is some form of a crystal or a vessel for magical power. Mine has been damaged and repaired, which has changed what I could do and given me some unusual capabilities. And as I say that, I manifest an echo next to me and have it walk around us as we're talking.
He doesn't seem super shocked because he obviously is a magician, so he kind of understands magic and stuff. But he's quite impressed by this coming from you. He wouldn't have expected a Warforged to be able to do such things. It's like, you're an Echo Knight.
That, I believe, would be an appropriate way of putting it. I am learning on the job, shall we say.
It's like, this vessel, where does it reside?
I just tap my chest and say, you could say it is by way of being my heart.
He goes, I don't know, this is slightly forward. You are asking for my help. I will need to see the vessel.
Would I know how to make that happen without
Yeah,
help?
I think you do. You're sort of like, there's some like latches or sort of things within that you can sort of...
There are ways.
Yeah, the click open.
Yeah, so I sit down and I remove my my outer clothing and cloak and so on, and take a seat and release the appropriate mechanisms to make myself available.
Okay, so you open up you open up your chest for all intents and purposes, and you show him the vessel, which thrums with energy. He looks at it with absolute sort of wonderment. He says, "I've read of these vessels. I've never seen one with my own eyes. I had no idea that this is how Warforged worked. This is fabulous. Oh, my boy."
This is news to myself until recently as well. I was well, as you can understand, when those like myself were created, they were loath to make us too curious about how we work because we were simply tools. But obviously, there aren't many people around that know how these things work, and I'd rather stay moving and alive. And unusual circumstances recently occurred, which caused this knowledge to become available to us.
And he asked you how. What was that?
So, broadly, in our travels, we had come across another of my kind who was, how shall I put this? Not exactly driven towards the same things that myself and my companions were looking to achieve, and we were forced to destroy him. So I have an acquaintance, or several acquaintances, that I have made that are in the artificer trade, that we were looking at understanding how things work using his remains. Unfortunately, there was an incident involving some people who are antagonistic to our aims, and there was a discharge of energy which, among other things, caused damage to myself and left me somewhat helpless. My colleagues, including a magician who I'm afraid is not currently available, were able to repair me and to use an alternative source of magical essence to refill my vessel. But as you can see, there was certain damage to it, which appears to have led to my new abilities.
He sort of looks closely at it, and he sort of kind of holds up his finger and goes, "1 minute, 1 minute." He runs off and comes back with a load of scrolls, and starts kind of rifling through them and sort of kind of holding some of them up against your chest and sort of kind of throwing them away and then holding another one up. And he's like, yeah, this is the one. This is it. Yes. He says, it's, yeah. And he sort of kind of flicks it around different angles, and he's like, yes. He says, like, this vessel is, for all intents and purposes, your soul. He says, this, whatever's within this is who you are. This is pure sort of, This is pure essence that creates your being. This is not to say that it can't mix with others. He says, you have memory. He says you have memories of your old. You have memories of your old being. Yes, your old self. Do you have memories of your old sort of like being the ranger and stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean, I still retain memories of myself both after and before my awakening, so I can recall to a very large extent my original period of service, and there was an incident which led to me being retired, shall we say.
So he says, this is interesting. He says, because in theory, these from what I understand, from my readings, these vessels were ways for soldiers to carry on service past their demise. And what you're telling me, what you're saying is you have retained memories of your existence that you've retained these memories and then taken on the essence of another being and kept these despite that not being within this vessel itself. He's just like, this doesn't make sense. He's just like, as far as I'm aware, whatever's in that vessel is who you are, but you're telling me that you have memories that predate this change of being, and all it's done is changed your abilities, but not done anything to your memory?
Something like that. I can't recall ever being anything other than a Warforged, but I can recall having been in other places at different times, and I can recall learning different skills. Interesting.
He says, I don't know how much help I can be, but you, in theory, could supplement your abilities by filling your vessel. Obviously, it's a fragile thing. It is your heart for all intents and purposes. And therefore tinkering with it is dangerous to say the least. But you could, in theory, as the way you're telling me, use other essences to augment your current abilities.
It's an interesting idea. I will admit that I'm a little bit cautious as to what I put into the jar, having already survived it being shattered once due to different instances. But it is an interesting idea, and it is something I may have to take under advisement, and possibly my colleague might, at some point in the near future, make a journey to come and have a discussion with you. Possibly he could share some of his own findings.
Yes, he's just like, by all means, yes, of course. I wouldn't know where to start, but it is theoretically possible. It is something with the right rituals and the right sort of materials, and we could do that if that is something I would be in. And he's like, he's quite sort of like, it's something he would like to do. It's like, he's just like, well, this is something new. There's that's something he could probably do. There is, though, a risk that comes with it, if that's something you did want to do. He says, though, I just can't. It's like you have in his brain, it's like that vessel is you, but you're telling him that there's more to it than what's in that vessel. So there's something else. And he says there's no other, you don't have any other vessels in your, and I'm sorry for being so forward, there's none in your head or no.
To my knowledge, that is the core of me. And while there is other material that makes up the rest of who I am, and it's my arms, my legs, my ability to communicate, everything comes back to this.
He's like, interesting. Have we lost Leggy? You go? Or maybe he's just turned himself off. He's
turned himself off for a
his
second, I think.
Yeah. It's just like, yes, interesting. Oh, we've got two of me now. Okay, so he's like, yes, if your colleague can stop by, we can discuss it further. I can obviously try and do a bit more research for you, if you wish. Obviously, the more information you can provide me about your workings, the better. It may be something you would best to try and find out a bit more about, to help, if that is something you want to achieve.
It is something that I am definitely bearing in mind, having spent a number of years inactive and having died once. I'm quite eager not to do it again, shall we say, among other things. But I do have, as I said, I have a colleague who has been working with me. He has, as an artificer, he has quite copious notes and certain supplies that we have acquired, including those I've just talked about. And I suspect that he would be very interested in discussing this with you.
He's like, by all means, yes, indeed. I would. I'm sure he has information, but I would suggest you find a bit more about your kind before we start tinkering within your person. As much as this is very much of interest to me, and it's something I definitely want to be a part of. I would hate to be the harbinger of your demise. So it's very important that we get all the information we can.
It is something that I am pursuing during my travels, and I would be very interested in having a further discussion about this. Once I've managed to come across some more information, or possibly even some additional material, shall we say?
Okay.
Having already encountered one of my counterparts.
Okay. All right. Let's move on then. Galandra, you are sort of off to try and find people who are sort of. So, what are you looking for?
So he didn't kind of give me any.
So you're looking
Like,
for shady
you know-
characters, basically, to find some information about. You're basically looking for information about people who are skimming off the top of this this
How
man's
well
business.
do I know the city?
You don't know it at all.
Right,
You've never been
okay.
there. You obviously
Is there any signage?
you are aware. There's signs. You're not going to be.
I'm just looking for like where trade comes in.
Yeah, so
Like where things are stored.
there is sort of within the city walls, there is the main sort of kind of water source that goes under the walls, and that a lot of the sort of canal barges, which you see going through Camber Ford, will go through in that point. So in your mind, it's either getting siphoned off at Camber Ford, which you think is unlikely because obviously that's your sort of your stronghold, or it's being sort of kind of grabbed as it comes in through the main sort of kind of water gates into the city.
Okay, well I'll head to where the the trade's coming in at the gates.
Okay. Are you stealthing it, or are you just clericing it? How are you doing it?
No, I don't think I'm. But I'm wearing heavy armor.
Yeah, it'll
I
be a
don't think I'm
disadvantage.
very good at.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
try and
so I'm
stealth,
just
but it'll be a disadvantage.
I'm just gonna walk around, and everyone knows that we're there anyway, because obviously we walk through the gate. So yeah, I'm just gonna go there
Okay.
unstealthed.
Okay, so you take yourself off to the sort of, it's not like a harbor, it's sort of there's like one of the main waterways that goes into the city itself. You see cranes, you see boxes, you see canal barges around there. You see people loading and unloading things. Do you want to roll me a perception?
Get back on my person.
Yeah, you sort of, you just see people doing their jobs, really. You're not sort of perceiving anything of any major note at this moment in time. Just traders doing trading.
Can I see where exactly is there like a storage?
Yeah, so you've got some
or is
warehouses.
there,
So you've got basically, as the sort of gate opens, it comes into this sort of kind of key area, key area where the sort of kind of the canal barges sort of kind of leave their goods. There's cranes that sort of kind of lift them off. Then they have what looks like storehouses for the goods as they come in.
Is there anybody like guarding, manning, officials kind of like standing around?
You see, local guards looking at the. Right, 1 minute. Look at somebody's messaging me here. You see local guards and stuff. Just making sure it wasn't one of you telling me they needed to go. Okay, so you see local guards just sitting there, sort of looking bored. It's day to day being mundane.
And at this point, is everybody aware of obviously the situation in Suburn with obviously him being taken and the trial?
Yeah, it would be. It's been a couple of days. It would have basically proliferated through the city, so they are aware of your presence. You'll have anyway, because of who you are and how long you've been in Balon. You'll have some. People will be aware. They might not know you instantly, but they'll be aware of the stories and things. So,
okay. I'll just go up to the guards who are looking bored, and I will. Hello, I am in official business of Lady Tont. And the company who have been in your city these past few days. How fares your work?
They sort of kind of stand up and look at you, look you up and down, and go, boring. It was just we're just guarding boxes, milady. Who are you?
My name is Galandra Rivenstar of the party who acquired not the enemy.
Bear with 1 minute, my dog's kicking off. Bear with 1 minute.
Of course. It's not like the enemy, he's the accused, I assume. It would refer to him as. I don't think I've ever introduced my character to anybody in game before, ever.
It's better than doing it every like 20 seconds.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I know.
Bloody dog. Okay, so you're saying you're Galandra Rivenstar. You're
with the party who got the
You're basically going
acquired the accused.
Yeah, are you kind of going? Are you kind of going? Heroes of Silkside. Falcross Bridge.
No, I'm not that big headed. Like yet. They might start getting some more persuasion as it comes out, but no, I'm just saying I'm just kind of like on patrol of the city that we are currently occupying. Not occupying because that sounds too like battley, but like we're currently just in, like we're having a peruse and making sure everyone's at peace. Well, no, you know what I mean.
They look at you and they go, so all this stuff with Triarch Suburn, is that true, milady?
Yes, I'm afraid it is. Right under everybody's noses, I'm afraid.
Jensen, I told you. I told you he was a scumbag. I told you. I
am. As much as I'm aware, I think the trial, how many days away now?
5 days away. I think you're on your second day, so 5.
Yeah, 5 days away, and everything will seem to come to light in the trial for all to see.
And he's just like, oh, yes. Well, what was it we could do for you then, milady?
I was just wondering if you'd had any trouble. Any issues arisen?
He's like, trouble? Issues? Not that I could think of. I don't. What sort of trouble?
Well, just making sure that you're doing your job properly, making sure that everything is being guarded and everything is to scratch.
So he sort of looks at. He says, he looks at you slightly hurt. He's just like, I don't know.
We are new to Suburn, so we're just making sure everything is, on par.
He's like, we do our jobs well, milady. I'm not sure what you're trying to insinuate.
Nothing insinuated. It's just as part of the I am the cleric of our band of adventurers, and I like to make sure that my services aren't going to be needed with rapscallions and whatnot.
Okay. He's like, well, yeah, nothing to worry about here, milady. Everything's going fine. We're doing our jobs. It's boring work. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, it's fine.
Can I cast insight to see if he's telling the truth?
Yes, you can roll me insight.
Oh,
You do. You get the impression that there's more to it than he's saying. Like, they are doing their jobs and everything, but there's something more that he's not telling you.
I ask him what time he gets off, and I give him a wink.
Oh, God. He's like, his mate's just like, gives him a nudge, and he's just like, I need to ask my sergeant, but, about 6 o'clock, I think.
Good to know. And I flick my hair and I walk off down the next alley.
Right, as you're walking down, his mate's just like, "Oh, you're getting in there, mates. You're getting in there. You're way."
What time is it now? What time is it now?
You're sort of kind of early afternoon, I guess.
Okay, I am gonna wait for a switch over between guards and kind of just keep a lookout for the next kind of hours to see if I can. Is there any sort of hiding place I can kind of?
Yeah,
look
if
from afar?
you can roll me stealth at disadvantage because you're in armor, and if you want to hide somewhere.
Well, just somewhere that's because how far can I see with my elven eyes?
As far as you can't see through boxes and stuff like that. If that's what you're trying to say, you
No.
don't have
I
X-ray
just
vision.
mean kind of I can just kind of see from afar when they're changing hands, or
You can take yourself off to a house, but or an inn or something nearby, I guess, and look out the window. But again, you're not going to be overly inconspicuous because you're in full plate armor and.
No. Well, they know I'm around anyway. Like I said, I'm gonna wait until kind of that time, to kind of see what I can see.
Okay. All right. So as Tharaval and Ceravel and Barty and Valashul are sort of kind of walking around the streets trying to find a dragon slayer. Roll me perception, Tharaval. You notice sort of kind of at the corner of your eye, there's a sort of hooded figure, but he's sort of kind of doing, thieves' cant, so he's kind of doing signals with his hands, to you.
Can myself and Ceravel read what the?
Yeah, he says, someone is. It basically says so. There's potential. What would the word be? There's with one of our. What are you going to say? Because it's taunt, which you have a part of your little business, isn't it? It's not going to be, but you have sort of.
But then, if it's to do with the Thieves Guild, then it sort of expands. It's all underground, so it's all kind of connected. It doesn't have to be particularly with one town, as far as I was aware.
Okay, so they all right. So he basically wants to talk to you. He's just basically saying he basically wants to have a word.
Okay. Tharavel sort of says to Ceravel, I think we're wanted over there. They say to the rest of them to sort of carry on, and we'll catch up in a bit, and then head towards the sort of alleyway, and just walk down it.
Okay.
Where this guy is.
So at the sort of kind of bottom of the alleyway, and a sort of like it's sort of a doorway. You see a shadowy figure who basically looks over your shoulder, beckons you into a sort of a room, and then proceeds to tell you about. Obviously, he knows from Jonto that you are, he knows about you, and he knows that what's going on, etc., etc. He was the envoy, the messenger who sort of kind of helped the contact, and he says, so do you know much about a I was going to do a Scottish accent, but that's really bad for a thief. But do you know much about? There's a cleric nosing around the ports, and she's sticking her nose into our business. Obviously, we have an agreement with you and John, your party and Jonto, on what we can and cannot do, and obviously, she is potentially going to cause us some lack of revenue, some drop in our revenue. Might you deal with the situation?
What is it? What is it she is she's looking for? What?
She's sticking her nose where it's not needed.
Awful.
She's a fucking meth.
So what exactly is it that she's what exactly is it that she's doing?
He basically says that she's asking questions. She's as far we have certain we skim off the top of some of the more lucrative, richer businesses that come in through this gate. And she's been asking questions. That seem to me that she's going to interfere with our business.
Have you tried bribing her?
She's like, I get the impression she's not the sort of person who would be bribed. But if you think that's something we can do, then maybe we will. But I wanted to make sure that, we just wanted to make sure that you were aware of the situation.
You and I both know that everybody has their price. Find out what hers is.
Okay. he sort of bows his head and sort of kind of takes off.
Well, basically, it'll say that she must be looking for something. She must be doing this for a reason. She must be looking for something. If we can provide what it is that she's looking for, then maybe she'll stop looking.
Okay. Okay, so he sort of kind of bows his head and sort of takes himself off. Barty and Valashul, as you're sort of kind of walking down the street, is there any interactions between you you're doing, or am I just going to roll some dice to see if you find what you're looking for?
Val's got a bit of a one-track mind, so he's just gonna stay focused on what he's looking for.
Barty, any questions or anything you want to ask or anything?
Barty's thinking about portals. His interest being piqued, but he's just like running it through in his head, just wondering like what the sort of theory behind it might be, and if it's something that you'd have to find, or something ancient, someone that might have already built, or something that you'd have to create yourself.
Is there something you're going to talk to Valashil about portals and stuff, or have you seen any, or do you know, or is anything you're?
No, I don't think I've seen anything. I've seen like smaller spells where people have been moving around the earth and stuff, like teleportation, but I'm not seeing anything.
Well, I mean, are you going to ask him about this?
Oh, if he's seen it. Oh god, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I just sort of turn over. It's like these portals to planes. How did you find yourself on the material plane from where you originated?
I was sent here to do the Will of Bahamut.
And is there a way
secret behind it? I cannot tell you.
that you don't know, or you refuse?
I don't know. I wouldn't need you for a portal if I knew how.
Tell me, was there a ritual involved? A special place? A building? A material? Do you have to bathe in a particular mixture of fluids beforehand?
Personally, I like lavender, but
your underwear begs to differ.
Val rocks his head from left to right. He says, "We assembled in a chamber, and I stepped through a portal. That was simply it. What took place before that, I do not know. It was ready when I arrived."
Barty, you from the stories that you've heard, from being in Balon, you're aware that there was a mage who has used teleportation to bring some destruction. So obviously the funeral, you're aware that there was a funeral and that some dragonborn of Tiamat were set loose on this funeral. You're aware that there was talk of a dragon in Camber Ford, which is in the center of Balon. These are obviously all these rumors that you've heard, but obviously around sort of things being teleported around. So you're aware there's somebody in this land, and it seems to link to the party about this about the teleportation.
Interesting.
About the portals, even. Sorry.
Okay.
If you don't want to say anything about it, it's fine. But it's just you would be aware of those things.
Okay. So it's ruminate on. Okay, yeah, but he'll sort of drop it. It's like it gets the impression that that's as much information as he's going to get. He'll have to start start off his own investigation.
Cool. Okay. Also, oh, that was the other. I forgot completely. Yeah, sorry, Tharavel. There's another thing. Another sort of gentleman shifty character sort of comes up to you, and he mentions that that small fellow who was with you, he says he has a magic horse, and he's like, we saw him just a horse just sort of appeared out of nowhere, like a funny looking horse just appeared out of nowhere, and he started riding it around outside the walls. He didn't see us when we were there, but we thought this would be something you'd want to know.
Ah, that little man is full of surprises. Yes, thank you. That will... Not sure what to do with that, but I'm sure that will come in handy at some point.
He's just like, he says, we aim to serve, and he sort of kind of bows and then holds out his palm.
Tharavel sort of like slaps his hand and says, "Thanks very much."
He sort of
You know,
looks.
and then he'll flip him a gold coin as well.
He sort of kind of bows his head and sort of chuckles a bit and then takes himself off. Okay, so Galandra, as you're sort of kind of waiting, peeking around boxes and stuff, not looking overly inconspicuous in your armor, sort of same with time, you hear a voice behind you saying, "What is it you want?"
Galandra looks around like Bahamut.
Daddy.
Okay, Galandra turns around to see where the voice is coming from.
You see a guy sort of takes off a hood and he's sort of kind of smoking a clay pipe, and he sort of says, I'm just a bit interested in why you are sniffing around these parts. It seems a bit odd. Don't you have a trial to prepare for?
Galandra kind of squints at him and say, you remind me of someone.
And he sort of... he looks at you and he goes, I'm just going to be straight with you. We, as you may or may not be aware, we have an agreement with a member of your party that certain activities will be carried out, not to the detriment of the country, but to the detriment of maybe those who have a bit too much, too much. And your questions put our endeavors at peril. I therefore am here to find out what you want and what it will cost for you to go away.
8,000 gold.
He sort of looks at you. 8,000 gold. You want 8,000 gold. What do you need? What do you need 8,000 gold for?
Does it matter? You said name your price.
He's just like, I was, he's like, that's a hefty price. And if we don't give you 8,000 gold,
I might just have to keep asking the questions.
Okay.
Surely an establishment of your vast nature. Obviously, I know the fact that they had like that thing at Camberford, so obviously they've travelled very far. I'm sure knowing the vast nature of your establishment, the 8,000 gold is petty cash.
Can I do a bit of RP with this?
Yeah, you can be you can be the guy. Yeah, go on then. You can be the guy.
Okay. Well, you see, my lovely, our business is money. We need to make money. Not give it away. We take from the rich, we give to ourselves. However, we do take items. Maybe we have some items that could be of interest for you that may fetch a price on sale.
I'm listening.
What is it you seek?
What is it you have?
Are you in the market for weapons? Book?
I am in the market for something that will bring me 8,000 gold.
I don't know what I have. DM?
So you're not going to give away 8,000 gold. It's a lot of money. She's not going to get 8,000 gold from you.
I think basically it's trying to figure out, like, she wants a ring.
You
Instead
don't-
I don't know this, but it's basically trying to get out of her what it is that she's looking to buy, and they can then possibly either provide her with that or maybe do it at a cheaper price.
Yeah, so you can ask her for a bit more information on. Obviously, the 8,000 gold is something you want to purchase something with this. It's not going to be. It's not going to be for a pension. It's not a pension. It's for some sort of item. What is the item you're looking for?
I don't think my deception is one of my strong suits.
Okay, well you can try.
I just say, what was the amount of money that you make with your endeavors in this city is surely far more than 8,000 gold. I'm in no rush for this. However, I'm sure if your establishments here were shut down for any reason at all, it would be a hell of a lot more than 8,000 gold.
If you're going to roleplay this, Michael, you have to understand that they have an agreement with you that there will be no interference with these more legitimate, if there is legitimate, when it comes to these more legitimate sort of endeavors. They're sort of stealing from super rich people who can afford it effectively. They're not doing it to the detriment of the country, just people who have these things squirreled away. And obviously this would be contrary to the agreement that was already, the promise that was given. And therefore, I'm not sure if he's going to fully like that.
You have to give me a bit of wiggle room here, love.
How many accents is this guy gonna have? I'm like the Scouts.
We, as I said, we have it on good authority that with the agreement that we have, and that what you're asking for is too much than we can give. We're trying our best to make a deal with you here. If you can't give us a bit of wiggle room, we'll have to go back and speak to our other resources, and they might not like that.
This is where Galandra completely sinks your
entire empire.
The thing is, it's all because of her own pride. It's like literally like, we can do you a deal here. No, I'm not falling for this. No. It's like, right, okay.
Goodbye, Thieves Network. This is we're gonna take you down.
Well, obviously Galandra kind of knows the Tharavol's kind of this little establishment. So obviously it's been a benefit to our party on more than one occasion. So she's not about to kind of sink that, because that could be of her benefit as well. But
maybe we could do more business in the future also.
I also have absolutely no problem with screwing over NPCs, but we'll get to that. I understand that your little business, and I do the little air quotes, is very successful, and you have a specific set of skills that not many do, which could benefit us both. What are your fast? No, what's not a word. Fast. That's not fast hands. Sticky fingers. Well, what's the phrase?
Yeah,
that's something completely different.
No, what's the
The brothels are in the corner, love.
What's the phrase when you steal stuff? There's a phrase about hands. I can't remember the phrase now.
5 finger discount.
Yeah. What's your skill set in the Firefinger discount?
Ah, well, that's where we excel. That is our business.
So if I were to give you a place where you could use these skills for, I don't know, a few items, would this be something you'd be interested in to make the questions go away?
Are you intentionally showing shoulder, by the way? Are you doing that on purpose to sort of kind of be provocative?
No, I
Is there
wasn't.
anything I can say?
The ankle next.
Here's my shoulder. No, I've had to turn my camera because he's gone to bed. He doesn't want to be on camera when he's asleep, so I've had to turn my camera, so I'm like leaning on my desk. Yeah. Can't remember what I said now.
Right. So basically, he's off. You know,
You're offering to
Yes,
see
and
if
then
we
you
can
want to make the questions go away. Favor for a favor.
so what can she do for you? What is it?
Well, you could, I'm giving, say a place that we could both benefit from the Firefinger discount.
Sounds like a heist.
Son of a bitch, I'm in. Would theft be something you would do, Danny?
Yes.
Your character, Galandra, bearing in mind you are...
Chaotic.
Yeah, doesn't mean you could just steal shit. Doesn't sort of,
Stealing shit's like not as bad as killing people, which I have done.
I know.
Just because you want a ring doesn't mean you can hobo.
Yeah, it doesn't. You can't just sort of go, I want this ring. You are still good, chaotic or not. So, what is... You can't just steal it.
She's trying to hire them to steal it, isn't she?
Yeah, it's sort of, I'm not sure if that's morally ambiguous.
Yeah, it is for me as well.
Well, you just said that they take from like the super rich. If you could give me some information that, like, not criminally, but I suppose kind of like paints this guy in a really bad light, like, then I could be persuaded that,
Well,
he
he's, as far as you're aware, he is just a businessman. He deals in high end sort of things. Now, as a somebody who I don't, unless he hasn't done anything against you other than offer, said he's offered you a discount. He's offered you if you can help him out, and you're basically going to go and we'll steal from him instead, which isn't very good. So I don't.
The ring might be worth, if the ring is genuinely worth that much. Like if you're trying to hack it off for less or steal it, I think that that counts as theft. And
yeah, I don't think that would be that would be, again, it'd be against sort of your beliefs. I don't think you'd go in that line, chaotic or not.
I think my beliefs can change.
Not this again.
I've been looking at subclasses for the last 45 minutes. Like I'll save that for another session.
God. Danny's character changes more than somebody he changes.
Valishil's underwear.
Yeah, Valishil's underwear.
That actually doesn't change a lot.
I've only got 2 pairs.
Just once a year then.
Yeah.
He interchanges them, but he never washes them.
Okay.
It just turns them inside out.
You are not. I'm gonna put a line here. You're not gonna steal anything from him. You can try. The way you would say it is you understand that this thieves guild, this network, is something that you've made an agreement with. You're not willing to steal from this chap. You can work around it, I guess, as long as it sort of it's morally fits into your character traits. But this so you could steal from a bad person or somebody you think you honestly believe deserves it. But this gentleman, he's done no wrong to you.
He's trying to make a living.
He's trying to make a living. You won't just steal from him. It's not going to be in your thing, in your it's not going to be in your
remit.
Your remit. Like this is me giving you hints. You can try and work around this in other ways, but you can't just out and out steal from somebody because that's not your character.
Is there any? Well, I suppose the guy in front of me will probably know with his network. Is there any other kind of like rival, like like high end jewelry merchants, or people who make the jewelry, and like clients that are there's more of them?
I think what you're looking for is the black market.
So you're going to try and find a similar ring, or are you?
No, I was going to try and see if because he didn't seem to have known very much about the ring. He said it was magical, but he wasn't quite sure. So I was going to get it like is it the word appraised?
You need to get it first.
Well, yeah, but can I not just be like, bring somebody and be like, is that actually worth $8,000?
You can find somebody, yeah, if you want to bring somebody in, an expert, I guess, and sort of appraise its cost.
How much would that cost, though?
$8,000.
Well, it was like $5,000 for the ring, and then obviously you can try and find somebody of whatever. Again, you wouldn't do anything that would intentionally try and con this guy. You're not sort of like, you're happy to sort of.
You mean you're making me not?
Well, yes, I'm making you
not. I would.
You can sort of obviously bring the price down. You can try things within your character's sort of, mentality to do things, but you wouldn't, because you're meant to be a light, a guiding light in a dark land. You're not meant to be freaking adding shadow to this darkness. So.
Like, you could sort of argue is like it seems more for your character to try and disrupt the Thieves Guild to get what you want, but at the same time it's detrimental to your cause because the Thieves Guild are what they, with the agreement that they've got.
So in your brain
it goes against what the party have agreed with them.
Yeah.
So it's basically
rock and hard place, guys.
So
it's a way around it.
They're dealing with the Thieves Guild. Is they are, in all intents and purposes, bad people. They're stealing. In your mind, they are stealing. They're stealing. They're it's not sort of, they're not stealing because they're hungry or anything. They're stealing because of greed. And
I have no problem with that. My character might. I don't.
You should have been a rogue.
Yeah, you should have thought this out.
I would have loved to have been a rogue, but the position was taken.
I should have been married. I should have been many characters. I don't think one of them was a cleric.
Everybody should take a 3-level dip in rogue.
Lawful good cleric was not like destined for me at all.
You were happy enough at the start, and then you changed.
I had no idea what Dungeons and Dragons was. Like, you brought me in and told me that you should be a cleric.
Well, we needed a cleric. We needed a healer. We needed a healer, and you, yeah. So
you should work it in where Galandra and Tharavel like switch bodies for like a session.
Yeah. Freaky Friday.
I've been looking at some of the subclasses, and it's like it's making me happy. So I'll look into that.
Okay, but just bear in mind, you do have as much as you like bending your character, you do have character traits that you have to adhere to. So I will try and call you. I'm going to call you on things if I don't think your character is going to do this. You can try and justify it. If you can justify it to me, I'm happy enough. But if you can't, then it's a no-go. So,
I'm glad you need to sleep on it.
Okay, well, it's quite late, so we can leave it for now anyway and stuff. We can leave it. But, yeah, have a think about it. In the end, Thieves Guild in your brain, they're, as much as they're helping you, they've helped you, so you've got that, but they are shitbags, so you're not really that. You probably wouldn't feel too bad about screwing them over. Now, as it stands, this merchant is just a merchant who has offered you kindly a discount. Instead of saying, no, go away, he said, yeah, okay, help me out and I'll give you a discount. Now, obviously, if you found out anything bad about him, then that might change things. But as it stands, he's just a merchant who's trying to make a buck.
Thieves Guild can also find out people's secrets. Just saying.
Anyway, we'll leave that for now because it is late, and people will want to get to bed and stuff. So yes, so yeah, that's it. Lecky, you survived your first encounter with this with this group
Without any arguments.
with no arguments. They've been very restrained. It's been very good. But yeah, we will leave that for tonight. We will be back next week, though. Conrad, you're not around next week, are you?
I can't do next week. No.
Okay. Well, we can you can be off riding magic horses around the place while they do their bits and bobs.
Yeah, I'm not with the party at this point anyway. So unless the actual trial actually happens,
the entire bloody time.
No, but
the story's not allowed for it.
at this rate, it's going to be a side quest about Galandra trying to find morally ambiguous ways to sort of steal from people that'll sort of adhere
Can we get to
her
the trial then for the week after when I'm back? And then we can all get back together.
Yeah. Well, trial will sort of. I even have a picture of a courtroom for the trial.
Well, what you could do is maybe do this stuff in Discord chat.
Yeah, okay, we could do that
for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that. So we'll do this this sort of kind of you trying to. We'll do that in the Discord chat. That gives you time to think about what you need to say and what you want to do. And I'll let.
I'm better at that anyway. I'm better at writing stuff down than saying it. So I'm sure I'll come up with better stuff to say.
Yeah. So yeah, you can stick that in the Discord chat with what you want to do, and I can deputize Tharaval to do the other parts, and I can jump in if you go a bit too Wild West on it. But yes, cheers everybody for another good session. It's been great. For tonight, I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Conrad as Arnold Jerkel.
Good night.
Michael is Tharaval Eldon.
Night everyone.
Wes is Valshal Nostius.
Night guys.
Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Oh, thanks very much for having me, guys, and good night.
Yeah. Mark as Lance.
Be seeing you.
And and Danny as Tex. Written Tootin Tex Galandra Rivenstar.
Night, guys.
Night.
Bye.